back to Dr. U, and I'm Dr. Noah, your host, and today we're going to talk a little bit about fatigue, and a particular type of fatigue called chronic fatigue. Two major reasons that people see any type of health professional, it's usually pain and fatigue. So we're going to talk about, like we did a little bit last time with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue kind of goes hand in hand a lot of times. I see that in my practice. Chronic fatigue is more of a devastating type of fatigue here, and the actual criteria there I'm going to go over a little bit with you. It must be where it has fatigue where it has an impact of 50% or more on your activities of daily living. I mean, we all get tired, we stay up late, we're all running around. This is a kind of a different level where it goes to the point where now you're actually becoming 50% reduced in terms of what you're able to do, and you've ruled out other types of problems which we'll talk about. The most common is thyroid. Plus you must have 8 of the following 11 type of factors: mild fever, sore throat, painful lymph nodes, which are little nodules in your throat, underneath your arms, in your groin area, general muscle weakness, muscle pain, prolonged fatigue following exercise, more than 24 hours, headaches, different types and severities are those experienced before you had this problem, different types of achy joints without swelling and redness, neurophysiological complaints, which is basically feeling kind of sensitive to light, visual problems, forgetfulness, irritability, confusion, difficulty thinking, sleep disturbance, so that you either sleep too much or you can't sleep, and onset of this occurred once again pretty quickly. So you have to have 8 of those 11 factors. That puts you in this category of chronic fatigue. I think most people who have chronic fatigue realize that this is something different than they never had before. Like I said, not just an overactive type of person like that. Then you need to follow up and try to do different types of tests, making sure that you don't have some autoimmune disease, so SED rates, a SMAC20 or a complete blood count, urine analysis, looking at sometimes diabetes, thyroid profile, which we talked about, anti-nuclear antibodies for different types of autoimmune diseases, of course HIV, Lyme's disease, which we've talked on my TV show before, lupus, different types of other types of what we'll talk about. Depression kind of comes along with this. So those are the things that you have to kind of with your health provider, try to go through this maze of what's going on, because just like with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue can be in this very complex type of syndrome where your health provider will just kind of blow you off. Oh well, we're all tired, and maybe you're just depressed, or maybe you need more sleep, and they don't really kind of address this multifactorial type of factor. In terms of what you'll start to find out as you go in and investigate Dr. U are some of the different types of factors in terms of looking at sugar imbalances, how you eat. We talked about toxicity all the time, allergies, glandular imbalances, which has to do with somewhat with thyroid, but also adrenal, pituitary, hypothalamus, poor elimination, could be some low blood pressure. I've found, unfortunately, that a lot of this this fatigue issue is just over medication. A big type of push that allopathic doctors do is that high blood pressure is definitely a risk factor for death, has to be taken seriously, but they over medicate and they push your blood pressure too low so that you just don't have any energy, you don't have the kind of pressure to kind of actually function, and it's actually just a problem with over medication. Of course, we'll talk about diet and different types of other type of factors of overweight and sedentary occupation. So these are some things that you'll be able to have a list of different types of wonderful type of nutrients. We'll be talking a little bit about mitochondrial dysfunction. That's kind of the energy of your body, and that's where fatigue kind of originates there, as well as some other toxic issues. So go on and look forward to talking more about chronic fatigue.